Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. And we're starting. You're early today, Jack. And what will you do? Jack took out a worn silver dollar and tossed it into the air. The eagle. Gina, the bartender, standing behind the counter, grinned. Maker's 46, it's coming. Jack was a good guy. She poured a generous glass and placed it in front of him. She turned to the back counter and picked up 2 bowls, pretzels in one and Spanish peanuts in the other. She watched him flip the coin again, once again surprised at his idiosyncrasy. Tails! She put the peanuts in front of him and leaned on the counter. How much longer is this crazy experiment of yours going to last? What is it? She asked. Actually, this may be the last day. Gina didn't know whether to be happy or sorry. When he started showing up at the bar a couple of weeks ago, tossing that damn coin, she wondered if he was crazy. It didn't take her long to realize that he was a smart guy who was pleasant to talk to, easy to communicate with a good sense of humor. Just a hidden aura of sadness that got to her. It's not that she hasn't seen it often enough in her work, but for some reason this guy got to her. Will that be the end of your visits? What is it? She asked. He chuckled. That would be pretty stupid, wouldn't it? I'm just starting to get to know you. She was surprised by the glint in his eyes and the flirtatious tone. Whatever was bothering him, he must be getting better. Good. What kind of tablet is this? He was holding his tablet on and watching some video. She couldn't make out what it was, but he seemed terribly focused on it. I have a problem with rats at home. I'm trying to take care of it, he replied. And there was that glint in his eyes again. He was enjoying something. A fighter jet? What is it? She asked. He flipped a coin, and she saw him smirk before tapping something on the screen. Eagle. Today is the day. Do you have time, Gina? And the place, she joked. It's 3:45 p.m. You came a good 20 minutes early today. That's fine. Is there any chance you'll get Marty to make me that burger you keep telling me about? You got it right, handsome. Only once a week, as you know. After the first one, you'll beg me for more, but I'm not responsible for your heart attack, if anything. Then you'd better stop wearing tight jeans, Jack replied, dodging a crumpled napkin thrown at him by a grinning barmaid. Jack looked around the bar, looking at the rare customers. There are only 6 people. He held up his credit card, drawing Gina's attention. I want to celebrate, beautiful. Drinks for everyone, on me, including you and Marty. This surprised her. He was a loner. He didn't talk to anyone except her and Marty. She took his card and ran her finger over it, then reached out and rang an old brass bell, attracting everyone's attention. Free drinks for anyone who wants, courtesy of my good friend Jack. Atkins, Jack said. Thanks to Jack Atkins, she said, meanwhile in her husband's apartment. Lauren closed her eyes and turned her head slightly. She breathed through her mouth to avoid the acrid smell of sweat coming from that bastard's body. Even the half-dozen scented candles she'd placed all over the bedroom couldn't neutralize his stench. She made all the necessary love sounds. It wasn't that terrible. 5 years ago, when they were in college, everything was fine. But then everything was different. Now she wanted to be anywhere but here, under him, but it couldn't be any other way. No, she would bear it a little longer. She would pay for his silence with her body if necessary. He would leave in less than 2 months, go abroad, and by then she would be able to handle everything. The first time, almost 6 weeks ago, was the most difficult, but she was gradually getting used to it. Use me, baby. It's so nice, she pleaded. Doug pushed into her, looking at that beauty beneath him. That's it, he growled. You know what you've been missing all these years. Just you, Dougie, she added for effect. Not for the first time, she wondered if she had made the right choice. He swore that this meeting would be the last, and she would never hear from him again. Well, of course, that's exactly what the bastard said almost 5 years ago. Meanwhile, at the bar. Last chance to change your mind, Jack muttered. What was that? Gina asked, setting a huge bacon cheeseburger in front of him. A pound of minced meat, 8 slices of thick sliced bacon, 4 slices of cheese with pepper, 2 fried eggs, and a spoonful of chili. More than 24 ounces of burger decadence were placed in a plate-sized bun. Nothing, Jack replied. There's too much for one person to eat it all. Do you want me to share it? She laughed. Well, yes, of course. I'm working damn hard to fit into these jeans that you appreciated. I couldn't help but notice. The food you're offering me would make me wear cow clothes. Well, one bite. I'm sure you can come up with some kind of exercise to compensate for it. Jack cut the burger in half. He looked at the video, reached out and pressed the flashing button. He laughed, picked up the burger himself, and took a huge bite, watching someone's antics on the screen. Gina leaned back and watched him, wondering where this change came from. Meanwhile, at Jack's husband's house. "What was that?" Lauren asked loudly, pushing Doug away and trying to sit up. She could have sworn she heard the door slam. "I didn't hear anything." "Lucy, I'm home." "Oh my God, he's here!" Lauren screamed, trying to push the idiot away from her. "So what? And what's he going to do about it?" "Get dressed, you fucking idiot. He's going to kill us. These guys have more guns than the entire Canadian Army." "Surprise, honey." Her husband's drunken voice sounded loudly outside the door. His next words were preceded by the distinctive sound of a shotgun reloading. "I have a great gift for you and your lover." Doug literally jumped off her, getting his feet tangled in the sheet, and fell off the bed face down. He grabbed his pants. The roar of a shotgun blast sounded like it was very close. He climbed up on the window and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. "Open up, you idiot," Lauren hissed. "Hurry up." Another shot was heard, followed by a knock on the door. "You have 5 seconds to open this door. If you do, I will only kill one of you." The laughter sounded almost insane. "The eagle, baby. I won. Try to stay away from your lover." Doug wrapped his pants around his arm and hit the glass with all his might, smashing it to smithereens. 5, 4, come on, come on, come on, Lauren screamed. While Doug was trying to remove the jagged fragments, the alarm system in the house began to wail. A shrill siren. Damn, just what they need. 3, 2, go ahead, Lauren shouted, pushing Doug hard from behind so that he flew headfirst from the second floor. She turned around to see if her husband was coming in the door when she climbed through the hole in the window herself. Gina watched Jack toss a coin, chuckling. "The eagle," he said, looking up at her. Lauren saw flames creeping up both sides of the curtain surrounding the window. Did the candles fall? 1, ready or not, I'm coming. She climbed out the window, cutting her arm and leg along the way. She jumped out, trying to clean up the landscape below. She hit the ground hard and felt a sharp pain in her ankle. She was immediately soaked through. Damn it, the sprinklers were on. Why were the sprinklers turned on? She looked around for Doug and saw that he was trying to get out of the huge rose bushes, whining and trying to push the branches apart. This damn bush was about 6 feet tall, 180 centimeters. She should have cut it herself when her demands to deal with the overgrown shrubbery were ignored. Even then, she should have guessed that something was wrong. Her husband had been in a gloomy mood for several weeks. She decided it was a job. Now she was sure that he had figured them out. She turned away from the house and almost fainted. The school bus was parked on the corner unloading the children, and everyone was looking in their direction. With a squeal, she turned around and began to look for a place to hide. She barely made it to the garage, where both their cars were neatly parked, away from prying eyes. She dialed the code on the external remote 3 times before realizing that he must have changed it. "Open up, you stupid fool," Doug snapped. "The code has been changed, you idiot," she replied. She ran to the backyard gate and pulled the handle. It was padlocked from the inside. The fence was 8 feet high, and it was almost impossible to climb over it. They took care of this when they installed a swimming pool here, so that there would be no outsiders in the backyard. Lauren looked back at the house and stared at it in shock. The entire upper floor seemed to be on fire. They got out through the window, but he must still be inside. She turned back to the street, noticing that the neighbors were watching her. Martha was standing on the sidewalk across the street, filming them on her iPhone. Lauren limped over to her and snatched the phone out of the hands of a terrified neighbor. Jack was surprised to hear his phone ring. He picked it up. Jack Atkins. "Baby, I am so sorry, but you have to get out of the house. Get out now. He's on fire. Hide the shotgun. We won't tell anyone anything. You have to get out of there right now." "Calm down, Lauren. What's the problem then?" "Listen, Jack, get out of the house. The bedroom is on fire. You have to get out. Do something with the shotgun. I'm going to deny it, but I don't know what that bastard's going to do, so you're going to have to leave him. Run. Get out." Jack pressed the camera selection button and zoomed in. Lauren limped nervously down the driveway, her hand covering her phone as she spoke. "But I'm not in the house, honey," Jack explained carefully. "Damn it, Jack. I do not know what you're playing there, but there is no time for that. I can already hear the sirens coming. Leave through the Simmons' backyard, but drop the shotgun and don't go out the front door, do you hear me? Jack stared at the coin in his hand. He didn't have a die to cast at this turn of events. Okay, honey, I'm not at home anymore. He heard her sob. Thank God. Now go. Hurry up. I'm really sorry, Jack. I never wanted any of this to happen. I love you. Lauren looked at the architect of all her troubles, squatting behind a holly bush next to the garage. Someone threw a jacket over her shoulders, and when she turned around, she saw Cindy, who was next door to her 2 houses away. Cover up, Lauren, the giddy blonde whispered softly. Don't let them see you like this. Lauren saw a fire truck approaching, followed by a police car. She felt tears welling up in her eyes and looked into the concerned face of her neighbor. She reached out and shoved her hand into the windbreaker, then shoved her other hand into the other sleeve before buttoning the front. Thank God the jacket was too big and reached to her mid-thighs. Thank you, she whispered. Cindy hugged her with one arm. It's going to be okay, she said. Lauren let out a painful laugh. I don't think so, Cindy. Not this time, but thanks anyway. They both stepped aside to the sidewalk as firefighters poured out of their car, 2 of them using a hose, releasing a powerful jet of water into her bedroom, while 2 more broke through the front door to get into the house. Gina leaned over the bar and watched the scene play out on his tablet screen. Firefighters crowded around the house while the man was being led away from the camera. What show are you watching? Is this the live news? Jack chuckled. A reality show. He turned off the tablet, looked at her and tossed a coin. Tails. Beer? He nodded. By 7:30 p.m. a decent crowd had gathered in the bar. Gina was worried about her new favorite client. He was in such a good mood for the first time since he started visiting this place. But now he has returned to his quiet habits, emptying his 5th glass. Beer again. Everything was wrong today. He never stayed here for more than an hour or so, sipping his 2 glasses before disappearing. She was glad he had eaten the burger. He'll take some of the booze. The noise level in the bar dropped to almost 0 and she looked around to see what had happened. A disheveled brunette stood in the doorway and looked around. The young woman looked in Gina's direction and walked with a severe limp. She was in a complete mess, barefoot, with bandages on her hip, shin, and arm. She was wearing a dark blue lightweight jacket and apparently nothing else. Heavily smeared makeup indicated that she had been crying. The crowd outside the bar parted as she approached. Jack got up from his seat and invited her to sit down. How long have you been here? The woman asked. Jack turned to Gina. What time did I get in? About 15:40, remember? The woman looked at Gina. And he's been here all this time? Gina nodded. I don't think he's ever left this place. I was beginning to wonder if he had a bladder the size of Lake Michigan. Jack walked over to the bar, grabbed the only empty stool, brought it back and placed it next to the woman. How rude of me. Gina, this is my ex-wife Lauren. Lauren, this is the best bartender in town, Gina. Lauren stared at her husband in silence. How? He shrugged his shoulders. Does it really matter? She shook her head. I think not. Can you tell me why? You know why. Besides, I should have asked you that question. He expected to see anger, but all he saw was sadness. I think that's fair, she said. Will you buy your ex a drink? I think I forgot my purse somewhere. Beer? She smiled sadly. I think I could use something stronger. Gina spoke up. Can I make a suggestion? They both turned to her expectantly. How about a bastard on the beach cocktail? Gina asked. You don't have anything called a stupid fool who probably deserves what happened to her, do you? Asked Lauren. Gina laughed. Bastard on the beach will do for her, Jack said. Gina smiled at him. This is a bourbon lover's mouthpiece. She turned around and started making drinks. Lauren reached out and grabbed Jack's half-full glass of beer and drank it down in one gulp. What do you want to know, Jack? Why? Why would you cheat on me? I thought what we had was perfect. Blackmail, she said calmly, almost expressionlessly. How? How could he blackmail you? And why don't you just tell me and let me deal with it? Lauren shyly pushed her hair back. I did a lot of stupid things in college. Really stupid stuff. To begin with, I experimented with illegal substances. This led to even more stupid things. You? You don't even drink or smoke, Jack said. Not anymore. Not after what happened. What happened? Jack asked. Very dirty video. Shameful. It's disgusting. Me and another girl in a room full of guys. I was completely out of my mind and I don't remember this incident at all, but it was definitely me. I remember lying in the hospital afterwards. You could have told me anyway. That was before we got married. I don't hold a grudge against you. She shrugged her shoulders. Maybe you don't. What about my job, my family, your family, our friends, our church? You're kidding, right? Not at all, Debbie. That other girl found out the hard way. Just give me a hint, Jack. No barmaid in her right mind would yell at a man who drinks something so fruity. He chuckled. I'm sorry, Gina. I couldn't help myself. I've always wanted to order this. He flipped a coin. The Eagle. She also chuckled. That's better. Maker's 46. After your cheater gets the bastard. Jack turned back to his wife. You should have told me anyway, Lauren. I do not know what we could do, but we could solve this together. She drained the rest of her, the suffering bastard. It was only once a week, less than 3 months. Then he swore that it would be over. I was stupid and scared. I didn't want to lose you. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You should have told me, Jack insisted. She lowered her head. I know, I'm sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am. I didn't know what to do. It all happened so fast. The first time he insisted that I do it right there, otherwise he would send this DVD to everyone. Post it on the internet. He'll send you to work. That's what I did. I hated every minute of it, but I did it. Having come this far, I realized it was too late. A few more months and it will all be over. I'm not very smart, am I? The dying bastard. Why don't you put him out of his misery? Gina said, taking the empty glass and replacing it with a new one. I feel like there's some kind of consonant theme here, Lauren said. Jack leaned closer to her. It wasn't smart at all. We have to be a team, Lauren. I would support you no matter what. Even after the first time, you should have come to me. I know. God, don't you think I know, Jack? It's too late now. I'm sure everyone we know will get a copy of the recording soon. I don't think Doug is very happy with me. Why did you call me, Lauren? I threatened your life, yours and your lover's. Please don't, Jack. Don't call him that. There was no love. Trust me. Jack nodded. I threatened you and your blackmailer. Why did you call me? I couldn't let you get hurt. It's not your fault. I knew you were in pain. You were drinking and acting sullen. You haven't touched me in weeks. I wanted to fall into your arms and explain everything, but all I could think about was, a few more weeks and it'll be over. I could spend the rest of my life making amends to you. But no, I couldn't let you get hurt or in trouble because of my mistake. She took a sip from her glass, making a face. Maker's 46, Gina said, pushing the bottle toward Jack. Are you going to drink this stuff? What is it? She asked, holding up that orange mixture in front of him. I think I'll pass, Jack said. Gina smiled. It's been half an hour since Angela arrived. I'm not at work anymore. Do you mind if I take it? Please help yourself. Gina leaned over, sipping her drink, shamelessly eavesdropping on the strange couple in front of her. I guess we don't stand a chance now, do we? Lauren asked anxiously. You were making love to another man in our house, in our bed, a few months. You hid it from me, made an unsuspecting cuckold out of me. For a whole month, you treated me like shit, like a complete idiot. No, I don't think there's anything left of our marriage. Lauren turned away from him, tears welling up unbidden. She reached for her glass, drained it, and turned it upside down. Hit it again, Gina. Gina got up and started preparing the next cocktail to finish off the poor thing. What's next for us, Jack? Will you give me any hope? We've had 3 wonderful years. I love you, and I know that you still love me. I have the divorce papers. I thought we could discuss them later. I'm not sure you're ready for this right now. He sipped his bourbon. I have to warn you that you will not leave with the winnings. She nodded absently. And what is it? 60-40 in your favor? 70 by 30? No, 50. 50. But there's not much to divide. I was fired last week, so I don't have any money for alimony. No alimony. Our bank accounts are almost empty. The home repair insurance deductible will suck out the last of the cash. We have maybe $30,000 in real estate, but after repairs and fees to the realtor, we will be lucky if at least something remains. I think you've been pretty thorough. I take it you've known everything for a long time? You've had plenty of time to get ready to burn my stupid ass, Lauren sighed. You'll get your car, but you'll still have to pay for it for 2 more years. Everything you had is inside the house, but I think your wardrobe burned down. Gina placed the last glass in front of Lauren. The dead bastard. There was nothing left but the funeral. Take your time with him, he hits you hard in the head. Lauren took a sip from the last glass and turned back to Jack. Seriously, how did you manage to do that? Obviously, you have a damn good alibi. Jack turned on the tablet and showed her the videos. 6 small icons on the side, each of which unfolded into a full-screen video. 2 from the bedroom, 2 more from the front of the house. 1 is at the entrance, the other is from the bedroom corridor. Okay, Lauren said. So you videotaped us. And how did you end up in 2 places at the same time? Do you see the big air vent in the hallway? Now there are 2 massive speakers installed here. Jack opened the menu and started playing pre-recorded messages. Lucy, I'm home. Is that all? A recording? Did we almost kill ourselves over the recording? Lauren immediately drained half of her glass. This and a few more preparations. I changed the alarm codes and the garage code, locked this place up. I glued the window sashes. Lauren turned to her husband. I should have told you. You've always been the smartest person. You would have thought of something, wouldn't you? Jack nodded. That's what I would do, I swear it. I wouldn't let anyone hurt you. She snorted, not at all feminine. Except for myself. It doesn't seem like you had much trouble destroying me. You destroyed me first, my angel. I've never loved anyone as much as you. You ripped out my heart and tore it to shreds when you said all that to that bastard in our bed. Like you didn't have anyone like him. Lauren blushed deeply. I'm sorry you heard that. To amuse his ego so that he would go away and leave me alone. I don't think we've ever spent more than 15 minutes in bed. That's why I said that. This is not an excuse, I understand that, and I am very sorry. Yes, I eventually realized that, but in the first few weeks it just destroyed me. Completely destroyed. Gina spoke up. She's never humiliated you, has she, Jack? Jack shook his head, a little surprised that he was interrupted. That's most of what I understood. That and the way she behaved in bed. I know my wife well enough to know that she didn't like it. It just confused me even more. Lauren staggered in her chair, the alcohol hitting her hard. One more glass, she said to Gina, waving the empty glass. Gina felt sorry for the woman. Mixed feelings, actually. She was intrigued by the idea that Jack might be available, but now she saw a different side of him. A dangerous man. Someone you don't want to have problems with. Cold, calculating, and thoughtful. She made the last drink and watched as Jack pulled his stool up to his wife's chair, straightened the bottom of her jacket, which revealed wide hips, and hugged her. Lauren felt his hand on her waist and clung to him. I've ruined everything, haven't I, baby? That's right, Lauren. Crushed our marriage like a grape. She laughed at our vows. What am I supposed to do now? Where will I go? Jack was going to leave her. Destroy it completely. Now he's changed his mind. This phone call. That damn phone call. Why did she do this? He pulled out a coin. Name the side, Angel. She watched the coin flip in the air, wondering how much of her future was connected to this random event. The eagle, she said. Jack caught the coin and placed it on his forearm, slowly opening it. The eagle. What does this mean? She asked nervously. I'll help you get back on your feet. I'll take care of this asshole, you can count on it. You can stay with me for the night. We'll go back to the house tomorrow and I'll start the renovation. You'll find a job. You'll need to support yourself. Where did you say I'd stay with you? I have a hotel room, separate beds. You don't think I'm going to sleep with you after you've been with that bastard, do you? You weren't planning on letting me use your dirty business again, were you? Again. I've never done that, Jack. I always washed thoroughly, I swear it. No, every fucking time, Lauren, every fucking time, he growled. She cried even harder. I'm really sorry, I needed it. I needed your love to erase that terrible feeling when I was with him. I didn't mean to disrespect you, baby. Never. Jack could barely contain his emotions. You hurt me, Lauren. It hurt so much. God, I didn't think anything could hurt that much. A drink appeared in front of them. Mai Tai, Phase 4. Out of this world. It's time to send the dead bastard where he deserves to go. Gina leaned over and grabbed Jack's arm. It's her drink, but I think you'll choose your destination. What will it be? Hell, heaven or purgatory? Jack pulled out a coin and looked at it. What the fuck, Jack? Are you serious? Are you going to throw a coin on this woman's life? Gina almost exploded. Lauren sat up and glared at the woman she considered her rival. This is a better chance than I deserve. She turned to her husband. May I ask? Gina stared at them. Why the coin, Jack? Seriously, I need to know. Jack put the coin on the counter and twirled it on the edge. It seemed to me that I was making a lot of bad decisions, starting with my marriage. I decided to let the occasion do its thing. A coin flip brought me to this place. She made me act out my revenge from a distance, instead of actually going into that room with a shotgun. She controlled every step that took me so far. It's probably just a mental prop. It's easier to live with every decision you make if it's not my fault. Let the gods decide for themselves. Lauren took one last sip. What choice do I have, Jack? I don't want to get your hopes up, Lauren. The marriage is over. I'm only considering the way there and the consequences, Jack explained. So this is hell, no matter what, she pouted. Jack tossed a coin, caught it, and slapped his hand. And what's the choice? Please, Lauren begged. Eagle, I won. Tails. You've lost. He showed the coin. Classic features of a woman's bust on a Morgan dollar. The woman's eyes seemed to be looking directly at his wife. Tails. But what does it mean? Lauren whined. Jack squeezed her hand tightly. Purgatory is for you. No hell. Not if I can help. But let's face it. Our little piece of paradise is lost. He turned to Gina. The bill? Gina felt as confused as Lauren. She calculated the cost of the last drinks and gave Jack the bill. He signed it, opened his wallet, and put a banknote on top. Thanks for being with me, Gina. Gina nodded slowly. He was weird. She put the Benjamin, $100 in her pocket, and slipped the signed check into the cash register drawer. She walked around the bar, watching him get up and help his wife up. Gina grabbed Jack's arm. He turned to her and was shocked when she put her arms around his neck and kissed him hard. Don't you dare torture this woman. I like you, Jack. Despite all this madness, I think you're a good person. You don't have to prove me wrong. Jack smiled. He pulled his beloved barmaid to him and kissed her hard. I won't hurt her. In a few months, I will get divorced and be free. I hope you don't mind, but I'd be interested to see how things go between us. Lauren started for the door, but turned around and saw her husband kissing a tall, stunning woman. She felt her heart flutter in her chest. She stumbled and grabbed his arm. No need, not yet. You're still mine until the court says otherwise. Jack shook his head. No, my angel, you've already decided otherwise. I don't think I'm married to you anymore. Until we get divorced, I won't sleep with other women, but you don't have any rights over me. So that's it? Have I already quit the game? Jack pulled her to him and hugged her tightly. Our marriage is over. We'll get divorced in 3 months. I'll start all over again. I'm not going to give up on you, Jack. No way. I'm going to change your mind. I love you and you love me. That's all that matters. I'll win you back, she argued. Jack grinned, leaned over, and gave her a quick kiss. Maybe it will be so. You've already done it once. Maybe you can do it again. But this time you will have a competitor. Lauren stared at him, trying to make sense of his words. She screamed and wrapped her arms around him, hugging him desperately. Do I still have a chance? Really? Jack nodded. Purgatory. A time for purification and a chance to find grace. No hell for you, my little angel. You'll get your paradise in the end. It's just that maybe he won't be with me. That's where you're wrong, Jack. We are made for each other. I screwed up. I screwed up a lot, but no one will ever be able to love you as much as I do. She looked at Gina and smiled coldly. The game has started. Gina watched as the two turned and left the bar, Jack supporting his awkwardly drunk wife. She sighed. She knew that her chances of winning this competition were slim. The ignorant little scammer lost, quit the game, but managed to clear the entire board with one last bet. It was hard for her to explain to herself why she did it. She ran to the door and caught up with them just a few dozen steps to the parking lot. She grabbed Jack, almost knocking him down, and kissed him again, pressing her whole body against him, as if claiming him. When she pulled back, she smiled broadly. The game has started. Lauren was about to explode when the Amazon turned and hugged her. I hope you will succeed. I hope. But if you don't, I swear I'll take it from you, keep it for myself, and never let it go. You only have one chance, so don't screw up this time. Gina returned to the bar to pick up her things and returned to her lonely apartment. She saw that Jack had left his silver dollar on the bar. She picked it up, testing it, feeling the weight. I threw it in the air, caught it, and checked it. Tails. I wonder what that would mean.